Wow, was that fun to watch. Now, that was an all-star game. They actually competed, right? Like, it put the NBA All-Star Game to shame. And I first want to say how cool it was to have so many eyes on the WNBA All-Star Game. Like, that's objectively cool how interested everyone was in watching that game. So, in the broad sense, it was a win for everyone. In the broad sense, it was a win for everyone. In the more, micro sense, it was an L for Team USA, for sure. I mean, just look at their faces out on the court after the game. You could see they were happy, not happy whatsoever about catching that L from the WNBA team led by Arike Ogunbowale, who was on a heater, setting the all-time scoring record for the All-Star game in just the second half of action, 34 points in the second half. Of course, we got to see the Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese team up. Clark's court vision out of control, again, leading the entire game in assists, and Reese's rebounding instincts, ridiculous. She led the entire game in rebounds. And you see that the future of the game is very bright because, to me, Team WNBA just looked more talented out there. Simple as that. Faster and more talented. Obviously, there was what Arike was able to do, right? Like, and just show off her prodigious scoring talents. My buddy Ryan Rucco did a fantastic job calling the contest, but like Arike buckets, she's going crazy in this one. You just saw the variety of ways that she is able to beat you, and she saw food. I mean, there was an answer from Kelsey Plum on that play, but that didn't take long for Arike to come right back down and say, "Don't worry about it. I got you. I got you." So there was that performance from Ogunbowale, who notably also not on the Olympic team. It's not just Caitlin Clark who's notably not on the Olympic team. And then there was Caitlin Clark and the court vision that we've seen from her. I mean, the pass she made to Jonquel Jones at the beginning of the game, one of the more ridiculous dimes you will ever see. It's why I say her court vision is as good as any basketball player who's ever played. Like, it's just out of control. The lead touchdown. She also hit Aaliyah Boston earlier in the game on a nice feed. We've seen that connection before, right? And you could see like they were ready to go. Cheryl Miller had said they wanted to beat the brakes off Team USA, right? And there you had it. And then there was Angel Reese, who, salute to her. Like, I think you saw with Clark, surrounded by the great teammates. I mean, she didn't shoot the ball well. It would have been nice to see her hit a three, whatever. But she didn't shoot the ball well. But you saw it surrounded by the kind of teammates she had and the finishing that was there. She didn't turn the ball over either in that spacing. And she was facing some extra attention in the All-Star game as well. And the same goes for Angel. You really saw how valuable a player Angel Reese is in the context of this All-Star game, because she just has these instincts on the boards that cannot be taught. She's ridiculous. Her first bucket in the game, appropriately enough, was on an offensive rebound. You just see her get there and get it right back up. Got the nice roll on that one. And it happens over and over again for Angel because she just has those instincts, the things you can't teach. It's why I've used the Dennis Rodman comparison in the past, and I've seen it more. And I don't mean that as a slight at all. Rodman was a legend. And it was because of his nose for the basketball and the value that he can bring. And then Angel has the ability, I think, to build up the rest of her game as well. We saw a connection too. I mean, I know everybody wanted to see it. We saw the connection between Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese in the game. Reese had said when she was mic'd up that, she has to be ready for the feeds from Caitlin at all times. She knows that. But here it was. Oh, little dump off. Angel finishes. So we got it. And Angel had also said she wants to compete with Caitlin in the 2028 Olympics, which seems like basically an inevitability at this point, right? Like, with the way that they're playing and they have played. along with Arike Ogunbowale. And shout out to some other players that played well. Nneka Ogwumike was really good to start the game. Kelsey Mitchell from the Fever got her groove going too. You know, she's not afraid to shoot. Now we're hitting this break as the Olympians go over there with a little bit of pressure on there. There's some pressure on both Olympic squads because the guys, they almost lost to South Sudan. And you know, I think people are overreacting to that a little bit because if you're familiar with FIBA basketball, internationally, they've caught up. I mean, we lost in 2004. It's incredible that LeBron is still on the team. Larry Brown didn't play him in that tournament right off his rookie season, and he has the game winner today. So that's amazing for his career. But it shows even with that stacked roster that it's not a guarantee that the USA wins even on the men's side. Now, the competition has not caught up quite as much on the women's side, but I think we are starting to see the age and some of the attrition catch up with the mainstays of the U.S. women's team. You know, Diana Taurasi's had a legendary career, but she played a long time. Chelsea Gray has not quite been the same since coming back from that injury. I've seen Kelsey Plum cooked on numerous occasions. So watching that All-Star game, I don't think that was a fluke, right? Like, I don't think it was like a one night only. They were extra motivated, whatever. I think the WNBA team is more talented than the USA team at this point. Of course, some politics go into it. Career achievements go into it, what you've earned over the years. I'm not saying they're not going to bring back the gold. I'm not saying that's not a great collection of players that is going over to Paris. It is indeed. And I think a lot of people's eyes have been awakened to how good the collection of talent is in the W. And that's why this was such a cool moment and event because, you know, with all this record growth, it had been attempted to be hijacked by negativity at times. And I think that's all in the rear view now. The only negativity was the look on the faces of the U.S. players after they got the brakes beat off. And it just shows you how good the future is for this league, for those future Olympic teams, because so many people are coming in on the ground level now. The W was growing, but now it's exploded. And they're going to follow Angel Reese, who's a star. You see TikToks and everything blowing up on and what she can do on the court. Arike, who just, I think, made a name for herself on a bigger stage than she had a chance to do before. And, of course, Caitlin Clark, who has been the driving force behind this explosion and has been terrific in her rookie WNBA season. What are we going to do? What are we going to do with that month off? Well, I mean, I'll be figuring out how to put the content out there, but you know what I'm saying. Check out Women's Fast Break on SI for the recap of that in the link below. Man, that was a fun All-Star game to watch. I hope everybody enjoyed it.